The Philippine peso recorded the biggest weekly loss in a year on slowing remittance growth, and amid speculation, President Aquino will find it hard to push through policy changes as his popularity wanes. With me down the line to discuss the political hurdles ahead and potential subsequent economic repercussions is William Arthur. William, Aquino recently highlighted the Philippines was upgraded to investment grade by all three major credit rating agencies in 2013 and has continued to receive upgrades since, adding, "We are indeed making history." Does this statement ring true to you?
The Philippines is certainly making great strides in terms of investment and gaining investor attention. And obviously we've seen some unprecedented ratings upgrades. So the statement does ring true, but I have to add some fairly important caveats. Because the problem that we have here is there are various recent events in the Philippines which mean that these upgrades, this confidence that's emerging, could so easily be unpicked. And the real elephant in the room here, of course, is the Mamaspano shooting, where over 40 police commandos and others were killed in a firefight on the 25th of January 2015. And the very real problem as well is that it's starting to impact very deeply on Aquino himself, because what he is finding is there is this very severe loss of public support. And what that means is that there could well be some very serious constraints and delays for him as the president getting his further reform process passed. And there are policy priorities that he's been pursuing since taking office, including growing the economy, getting more jobs, reducing poverty, anti-corruption campaigns and so forth, increasing the tax take efficiency. All these things could be jeopardized if the public lose confidence in Aquino. And the indications are from polling that this has happened. So he faces a real uphill struggle to get this resolved before leaving office at the end of his term in mid-2016. And of course, there is the perennial problem that the closer to the end of Aquino's term he gets into what we call the lame duck period of his presidency. That could be hastened by the shooting's fallout. And what this means is that he really just has to work very, very hard to get his own political capital resolved, but also to try to keep this reform process going. And I have my concerns at the moment, and that could well be reflected in subsequent ratings decisions by the ratings agencies.
Growth outlook for the economy has been increased. However, this central bank governor cautioned that the Philippines is not totally insulated from risks, flagging uneven global growth, uncertainty in the path of oil prices, as well as divergence in monetary policy of advanced economies. But what would you say are the biggest risks ahead for the Philippines, and can they be overcome?
One of the major problems that the Philippines faces is trying to make sure that its growth that it's achieving in its economy is being spread equitably. And this obviously influences all other areas of the economy and the society. So one of the things that the Philippines achieved last year was to get 6.1% economic growth. The government wants to achieve a similar figure this year. And obviously with the fallout of this shooting, with the concerns about the legislative process and the possibility of a messy presidential race for 2016, these are challenges which of course will affect the investment environment and economic growth. And the solution to these problems is quite intricate. First of all, Aquino has to get his political capital back. If he can do that, he's then going to be able to start moving his reform agenda forward. But of course, there is this very real risk that if the peace process is delayed, then you are going to have a problem actually running into the 2016 presidential elections and afterwards. The other point to make here is that 2015 is supposed to be a very significant year for Southeast Asia because of the realization at the end of the year of the ASEAN Economic Community. Now, the Philippines wants to capitalize on this, but of course, to do that, you have to have things to trade. So that means expanding the manufacturing base. That means making sure that you have the infrastructure to capitalize on a growing economy. For instance, one of the measures that's making its way through Congress at the moment is reform of shipping law, so that the Philippines is able to go ahead and move goods about and trade more freely. Delays to the legislative process could absolutely stunt that. The final point to make, of course, on the diplomatic front is that the country is very wary about a tense security situation in the South China Sea. There is no ready solution to that. The Philippines is pushing for a code of conduct, it's pushing for UN involvement, it's pushing for negotiated solutions, but of course this is not something that can be done overnight. So the Philippines faces, as with all of Southeast Asia, a very crucial year, but I think the crucial factor here will be, can the President turn around his political woes at the moment, and I think that is going to be a rather difficult challenge.
William, thank you. Viewers, also today, Jessica Walker brings us the latest forecast looking at the US dollar against the Brazilian real. So please do click back for that. Bye for now.